Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. We're doing something a little bit different today, and that is just a bit of a news recap. There has been several things that have popped up on my news feed that I wanted to talk about, and wasn't really something I could stretch out for a whole video, so we're just going to compile a bunch of them all together. So if you enjoy this, let me know down below. I know a lot of you guys did say you enjoyed the talking with Wally sitting on his couch, so hopefully we're going to do that as a more regular thing. Before we get into all the news stories, don't forget to drop a like on the video. It really helps keep the channel alive and growing and is very much appreciated. So let's do this. So this first one, in my opinion, is positive, even though the subject matter isn't. And the positivity comes from the aspect of a broader, wider audience getting of some recognition and understanding of what Jehovah's Witnesses go through when it comes to shunning. So this comes from Psychology Today, and this is one of their writers, and they say that a former member of the Jehovah's Witnesses reached out after reading one of her posts and wanted to talk a little bit about their story. Now, again, I won't plagiarize this entire article, so you can go and check it out for yourself, but I did want to just read a couple of sections from that. This paragraph I found interesting. Shunning is widely practiced among certain religions, including Jehovah's Witnesses, the Church of Scientology, Amish, Orthodox Judaism, to control the conduct of its members, a silent form of bullying and rejection. The practice, more common among cult-like denominations, ensures that the identity of a collective group does not tolerate individual thinking. I like how someone even on the outside identifies this, especially a trained professional, as, hey, this is like a cult-like denomination. You know, what's the difference between a religion and a cult? That's a debate for a different day altogether. But I think a lot of people have the nuance within themselves to see that there are sort of degrees and levels of Christianity, and the Jehovah's Witnesses are way down or way far on one side of that spectrum. Now, I just want to read a couple more paragraphs. This is studies on ostracism. Humans have a primal need for social support. Without a sense of belonging, a feeling of emotional safety and context, people come to fear that their very lives are at risk. They lose the ability to trust and connect with others, instead becoming consumed by the task of surviving alone. Shunning, therefore, is like a social death penalty, and studies prove this point. Exclusion has been found to cause pain that cuts deeper and lasts longer than a physical injury, according to Dr. Kipling D. Williams, a distinguished professor of psychological sciences at Purdue University. If you guys have never checked out any of his work or his papers, I highly recommend. When I was first leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses, I stumbled across some of his stuff, and absolutely fascinating and good to understand sort of what I was going through for sure. When someone is shunned, even by a stranger, even only briefly, Dr. Williams has found that they experience a strong and harmful reaction, activating the same area of the brain that registers physical pain. The crucial difference between physical and psychic injury is that physical damage heals, while social injuries linger. In his studies of more than 5,000 people, Dr. Williams used a computer game to show how just 2 or 3 minutes of ostracism can produce ongoing feelings. Wow, ongoing negative feelings. I can't read today, but that's why I put it on screen. Goodness gracious. So a really interesting article. Again, I'll put a link in the description so you can check out the entire thing, and shout outs to the person that was reached out to them wanting to tell their story, because things like this are very important. It helps get the word out there and hopefully reach a broader audience. I know it's something I've always said, but I'm sort of changing my mind on, is that most people don't care about Jehovah's Witnesses. They don't really care about anything that's happening. But I'm starting to find more people that have nothing to do with witnesses that are becoming more and more curious the more it's talked about. So I guess we just keep on going, and we'll see how far we can really take this thing. Anyway, next story that I wanted to talk about is not quite as positive. This comes from a ex-insurance agent, Brett Levitt, convicted of fraud, elder abuse, grand theft, and money laundering. So this is a real humdinger. A one-time insurance agent from Camarillo Brett Lovett was found guilty of 29 counts of fraud, elder abuse, including 2 victims Lovett met and befriended at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses congregation in Carpentiera. According to the criminal complaint, there were 9 victims in all. Lovett was found guilty of bilking these clients for a total of $1.2 million over a period of 5 years between 2011 and 2016. He was arrested in 2017. And then there was one other thing. According to Casey, Lovett had been implicated in a prior case, a civil action, for bilking parishioners at another Kingdom Hall. In that case, Casey said Lovett settled. So this guy is a real scourge on society, a deplorable human being. In one of the cases, or I can just read it here. In the current case, one of the victims lost $194,000 of her life savings. One of his victims, Casey added, was homeless for a while. Another had to move in with her family. So this guy is the absolute worst, but it is interesting as far as how he was able to ingratiate himself in the lives of these people. And it was at the Kingdom Hall. Now, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, they have this identity of, we love everyone that's a Jehovah's Witness. I hate saying it, but the brotherly love, the love we have amongst ourselves, yucky, 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 I hate even saying those terms, is unlike anything else in the world. You could go to anywhere on planet and walk into a Kingdom Hall and boom, you know you're going to be welcomed and you're going to be in a place where you have people that'll take care of you, that you can trust. But that's not always the case. And when you have this mentality that, oh, they're a Jehovah's Witness, therefore I can trust him. She's a Jehovah's Witness, therefore I can trust her. It can create problems like this. Last time I did a little news roundup, we talked about another case where someone was abusing children because they were an elder. They were using that position. And so it creates a real problem. And one thing that I remember growing up as a Jehovah's Witness is you're constantly inundated with all of these stories of honesty. So once every 3 or 4 months, they would trot out a story in a Awake or Watchtower where someone would lose their wallet. And a Jehovah's Witness happened to find it, and bada bing, bada boom, they returned the wallet, and boy howdy, oh my God, no one would have ever given me, this is so much money, why did you give it back? Like, oh, well, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that story gets just repeated over and over again, thus creating that culture that Jehovah's Witnesses are trustworthy. When people are people and there's going to be bad eggs wherever you go, and you need a level of skepticism for anything. So to just say that, oh, well, they should have been more careful, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because when you are indoctrinated to believe people, when you're indoctrinated that this is God's house, this is your safe haven, everything outside these walls, that's all Satan, man. It's terrifying out there. But here's where we feel comfortable. So people are more likely to let their guards down. So anyway, I found this case of this absolute piece of garbage really sickening, especially how people were homeless and had to move back in with their family, elder abuse, the whole thing. Absolutely terrible. Now, this next one comes to us from Austria. Explosives found at a Jehovah's Witness Austria meeting. A package containing explosives has been found at a congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses in Austria. It could have potentially caused great damage, the police said. The service took place on Friday evening. About 50 people were in attendance. The package was discovered in the entrance area of the building. The police arrived and recovered the package. The operation lasted all night because the explosives experts feared that the parcel was dangerous. After a thorough investigation, a police spokesperson said on Saturday, it is an unconventional homemade but basically functional explosive device. And then the crazy part is last year, there were already 2 incidents involving explosives at Jehovah's Witness organizations in Austria. And this kind of stuff needs to absolutely stop. The answer for trying to harm Jehovah's Witnesses or trying to get back at the Watchtower is not to harm the people that are already being harmed. Like, the Jehovah's Witnesses that are attending a meeting are victims themselves. They are going through all of the crap because of what the governing body does. And exposure is way better than exposure. That didn't work at all. Somehow it worked in my head. But no, planting an explosive device is not the way. And obviously, trying to expose them with sound logic and reasoning and creating a community once people leave the organization that can be a little bit of a pillow where people can find support, where people can find comfort, where people can find a new tribe, a new family, I think is really important. So those things create an environment of positivity, whereas blowing things up is just a criminal offense and you're going to or should go to jail. Hopefully you do go to jail, and you're a menace to society, and we can't have people like that running around. So stop it, get some help. Now, this one just kind of cracked me up a little bit. There was some new elders letters sent out, and as we know, those are on the internet immediately. This one just really tickled me, though. Lawn mowing safety. As a reminder, volunteers who mow the lawn at the Kingdom Hall should be properly trained, and training would include using these little forms that Watchtower has cooked up. Maybe this is me just being weird, but when I close my eyes, I cannot remember a time when I didn't know how to mow a lawn. Like, I literally can't remember not knowing how to use a lawnmower and mow the lawn. Like, don't most people learn how to do that when they're like 7 or 8, like tops? Like, I'm pretty sure I could change like the little things in a weed whacker. I don't remember not knowing how to do any of that. You know, you put the gas in. Sometimes you got to hit the little prime pump thing. Ours, you had to little take apart thing and spray this thing because sometimes the whatever engine part wouldn't start up, but it would make it go. I don't get it. Like, unless it's like a different generation of people that have never mowed a lawn before in their lives. Maybe I'm the one that's out of touch here, but I just find it funny that you're going to have these ostensibly like older teenagers or adults. Oh, okay, well, time to go in to get our training to learn how to mow a lawn. When it's like, shouldn't you know how to do this when you're like 8 years old? What is going on? But anyway, that one really cracked me up. Anything else in those elders letters? It wasn't too exciting. They're not getting Bible studies, so they're trying to put a bigger focus on how do we increase our Bible studies. All of that means is they're going to lower the standard of what a Bible study is, or just stop reporting it altogether. And that will wrap up the quick little what happened this week in JW news section of JW thoughts. This is too many JW things. So I'm gonna get out of here. You stay safe, be kind, and show yourself the same kindness that you show to others. And have a good ass day, man.